It's such a fun movie that I don't see anyone going to see this in the theater and walking out and being like, oh, that wasn't
They'd have to be dead inside to feel that, right?
And there you have it. If you don't find this movie fun, then you are probably dead inside. And if you're feeling a little dead inside, please seek help and probably take me with you. I probably need it. The Fall Guy is inspired by the 1980s TV series of the same name. It stars Lee Majors, who plays a film stuntman named Colt Seavers, who moonlights as a bounty hunter when the movie work is slow. Now, you may not remember Lee Majors or the TV show because, well, the 1980s, but this movie has some major draw cards of its own. That being the ridiculously charismatic Ryan Gosling as stuntman Colt Seavers.
I never forget a fist. I don't mean it like that.
This movie was directed by stunts coordinator turned director David Leitch. Leitch is known for his work on John Wick, Bullet Train, and Deadpool 2 to name a few. And it also stars the talented and beautiful Emily Blunt, who plays the movie's director and love interest Jodie. You might also know Emily Blunt from her various roles like Oppenheimer, Sicario, Mary Poppins, A Quiet Place, and The Edge of Tomorrow to name a few. This woman seriously has range, and she's also John Krasinski's wife, and if you didn't know, Stanley Tucci's sister-in-law. There's your unnecessary fact. The term fall guy in the stunt world is the guy who takes the hits, the guy who falls off the horse, the guy who falls through the window, and the guy who falls down the stairs. Well, it's in the name. Okay, it's in the name. This movie is a homage to stunt performers, which means you are destined to see some crazy amount of risk taken. This explains why you get to see Logan Holiday's record-breaking car roll in this movie. The previous record was 7 rolls, and in this Fall Guy movie, the guy rolled the car 8.5 times. That's ridiculous. He's okay though. But there is more to this movie than just entertaining actors and amazing stunts. So with that said, here is the plot followed by the pros and cons. When a fall goes horribly wrong, Colt Seavers disappears for 18 months, leaving behind his girlfriend Jodie and maybe also the film industry for good. When Jodie's producer Gail, played by the magnificent Hannah Waddingham, begs him to return as a stunt double for Tom Ryder, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is also rumored to be the next James Bond, and also he's that kid from Kick-Ass 1 and 2. Colt returns to the set of Metal Storm, a Comic-Con aiming sci-fi, hoping it would lead to a lover's reunion. When Gale tells him there's a hitch, the star Tom Ryder has disappeared and Colt must find the missing actor or Jodie's project will fail. This movie is an action comedy film with a tiny bit of romance sprinkled all over it. And with that said, here is the pros and cons, but I will start with cons. Con number 1. And this is not a big con, but I feel like Colt Seavers is basically just another variant of Ken from Barbie Land. If Colt Seavers just started singing, "I'm just Ken" in this Fall Guy movie, it wouldn't even be out of place. It would seem just right. Con number 2. I'm always annoyed at the over-exaggerated Australian accents. I hate when Hollywood movies feature Australian actors and tell them to dial up their Aussie to number 11.
What's an ice cream?
Are you saying ice cream or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Okay, it's just with your accent, it's hard. I'm not reporting an ice cream.
Yes, no, I get that.
Okay.
Also, I know it's not a big con because Americans do enjoy Australian accents, so I guess for entertainment's sake, it's okay. Con number 3. Well, I don't have a con number 3 because this movie promised me fun, and I went into this movie to have fun, and it delivered on said fun. Case closed. See, more people need to watch movies for what they are, not what they wish it was, because I heard some guy complain about this movie, and then when I went in there with all my negative thoughts, I just saw it, I thought, well, it's a freaking action comedy. So they did everything they were supposed to do. And now for the pros. Pro number 1. The Fall Guy leaned all the way into having fun with the action comedy genre, and it shows. It's actually fantastic. In interviews, the actors said that they had the chance to ad-lib and some even got to do their own stunts, which they really loved, and I'm sure that would have been an insurance nightmare. Pro number 2. Even though it seemed like I complained about the fact that Colt Seavers stepped out of Barbie Land and onto the set of The Fall Guy, I really actually quite enjoyed that character. Just basically take his love for Barbie and replace it with Emily Blunt's Jodie, The chemistry was practically the same, which works in my opinion. Pro number 3. David Leitch's experience as a stuntman made this movie special. They really showcased all the traditional stunt work in this movie and even celebrated hard works that goes into making stunts happen. It just adds this extra fun to this movie, and it celebrates the underappreciated Fall Guys, and, well, in this case, Fall Guys also includes the girls, so put down your pitchfork, Susan. Pro number 4. This movie didn't take itself too seriously, and frankly, neither should you. I love the piss take on the stereotypical roles in Hollywood. Pro number 5. This movie was shot right here in Sydney, Australia, which absolutely looked fantastic. It's really cool to see Sydney being showcased, and I personally enjoyed recognizing all the locations. Pro number 6. It has a pretty interesting cameo at the end of this film, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a thumbs up 7.5 out of 10 because they set out to entertain and also give recognition to all the Hollywood stunt performers, and they didn't fall short of that in any way. And we can all get behind that. Well, technically they could have used stunt performers instead of Hollywood stars, but you guys probably wouldn't have watched that movie. And it turns out you guys only watch movies from people you recognize. So, there you have it. This is a high-quality action film that balances between silliness and seriousness, whilst also delivering a crowd-pleasing set of flip cars, rooftop falls, and exploding choppers. I think it's a pretty good watch because it's one of those movies you see, especially if you just don't want to think too hard about anything. And that's my 2 cents. For another fun movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, check out this video.